my knowledge and expertise related with the green entrepreneurship. I'm thankful to the One Hub for the opportunity for this great initiative. Entrepreneurship itself is not very easy. So I really appreciate all of you, those who have taken a step for the entrepreneurship, because we are the risk takers and we're trying to solve the problems of the people, the humanity, social, and a lot more other types of issues. Now, the problem is we know that with the development, we are having tons of goods around us, whether it's the gadgets, the food items, or different amenities in life, and so on. And with all these things, we can experience, or we are all experiencing, that businesses are booming. But one thing is very important to understand, that when we do produce goods, we use some of the resources, the raw materials, and a lot more other things. People work for that. So when we are producing so many things for our comfort, for our need, and to make the life easier, we are trying to extract lots and lots of minerals and other resources from nature to make all those happen. But in that process of resource extraction and depletion, we are making them short in supply and expensive. I hope you all understand, when we try to use some of the things more, it creates the shortage of that specific goods or services, or here it is in terms of raw materials or resources. And traditionally, we could not understand that these activities of intense extraction and producing lot and lot and making business grow higher is going to create a different type of challenge or struggle, because we were in the pace of development, growth, giving comfort to everybody, making our life easier. But in whole of that process, we maybe never thought about lots of garbage, waste material. Very rarely we recycle things. And maybe we didn't have the knowledge of carbon footprint. Now, all of these activities all together around the globe has contributed tons and tons of waste and pollution. And I hope that, and I believe we are all struggling with this environmental degradation in Canada, in America, in developing countries, anywhere in the world. And this is becoming one of the biggest challenge for the humanity. And at this crisis time, when we are having this challenge, whether we are at north or south or east or west, in a developing country or developed country, doesn't matter. It is impacting us. Now, why this is happening? I just shared that we are doing so much production for the growth, for more profit. But we never thought about the way we did production. So I can term that as unsustainable business practices, which has created different types of risk factors, not only for the businesses, but for everybody. And here I would like to use one of the term in economics, we call it externality. I may think as a person, if I'm using, say, this bottle plastic bottle, how this is going to create impact on you. In a similar manner, many of us can think the same, that why one of my step is going to create impact on you. But the reality is each of those small steps are becoming such a big impact, which we can see in the form of environmental degradation, pollution, and different types of natural hazard. So one thing is very important here to understand. These are creating the risk. How? To a business? Because we have used lots of fossil fuel and a lot more other resources in whole of this process. So here I would like to share one of the video just to show a bit about that. Give me a second, please.
The button at the bottom to share. Yeah.
I hope, let me know if you can't hear.
Footprint. In a nutshell, it is how much land and water area we need to produce the resources we use and to absorb our waste. Yeah. Here is a link to that video if you haven't seen it. One resource that we use a lot of is carbon, mostly from the burning of fossil fuels. Now, this is a cute drawing, but truly, this is what fossil fuels extraction looks like nowadays.
So I was just talking about the fossil fuel, and we all understand this is creating a big carbon footprint for all of us. Okay, so let me share one more video with you just to explain this thing better. Give me a second, please.
Do that one more time if you go up to the share thing.
Mm-hmm. Sorry for the delay. Just give me one more second. Yeah. Yeah. So I was just talking about the fossil fuel. You saw a bit video of that, but when we say that, we mean by many of the things. It could be some of the energy sources, which we get from the natural gas, or it could be the petroleum and coal. So all these create different types of hazardous thing for the human and for others as well. So coming to my PowerPoint again, I was trying to discuss with you the unsustainable practices which our businesses have created. So here, these fossil fuel use has created increased cost, okay? And many times in business, we try to reduce our cost to make our profit higher, and that may happen with the higher revenue. So less supply of energy sources because of so much use is creating cost hike, and it is making us loser in terms of revenue opportunities. And sometime when it comes for some of the certification or qualification for business, and many times you will see in export you need to provide some green certificates to the importers, whether we are all following different rules and regulations related with that or not. So there we will be in disadvantageous position because of our unsustainable business practices. Again, many times when we try to depend on different supply chain in the process of overall production, we may not get the source of supply on time. And we know that in business, time is very important. So if you are taking more time to get your raw materials or your desired things, or you want to send your goods to the customers or for the next supply chain, it all creates more time gap. That means increased cost overall. Many times in this current time, we can see when we look for financing, which is one of the very important segment of the business, lots of policies of the governments are encouraging those businesses who are believing in sustainable practices and green practices actually. So those green financing, which we can avail, especially the small businesses, we cannot do that because we are not able to understand what it means by and how we can become one of the green business or entrepreneur. So we are deprived from the economic loans, the grants, and the subsidies because of these practices. Sometimes, even when we see the different other aspects, once we have done production, but we don't know how to dispose of some of the waste materials or the discarded goods, because we are not aware about some of the recycling and reusing practices available to us or which we could use to make our cost minimum. Because many times, I guess, you must have understood or have heard about that people are using those discarded goods as their raw materials, but maybe we don't know how to contact and where to contact. So this waste management becomes very expensive for us again, being the small entrepreneur especially. And one very important aspect is regulatory policies of the government. Nowadays, because of this challenge which we are all facing around the globe, many countries are trying to put some barrier, or I should say in the form of law, they're imposing businesses to follow certain things so that we could be more innovative, more sustainable in terms of our business practices. So regulatory bodies, the government tries to put fines on our businesses if we are not green, if we don't follow certain rules and regulations which can make our business better in terms of cost minimization. At the same time, we could be friendly with the environment. We're all talking about business, and we know that practically many big businesses are doing great. We know their name in one click. Say, for example, there are lots of big brands. So here, the small businesses, we are a bit lagging behind because we are not able to create our brand. So if we try to show that we are practicing green things in our business, we may attract some of the investors, because nowadays we'll find that there are many angel investors, many seed fundings we can get just because we are following a lot more green things in our business, starting from raw material to when it reaches the product reaches to the customers. And I told before as well, many times we don't get export orders because of the compliance issues, because we are not following some of the rules. We are not transparent in our working, which are very much about sustainable practices. So it was our traditional belief that whatever we will be doing, they are all okay. But gradually, due to those aggregate practices of ours, which are very much about business practices, we can see the adverse impact. And this because our practices are not sustainable. So one thing again I would like to say, whatever is happening around us in the form of environmental pollution or natural calamities, somewhere we are also responsible as a business. So why not we should try to find out some of the better ways so that we can practice some green things in our business, and that will also help us in minimizing cost. This also creates branding and a lot more. So this is a very great path, I should say, this green entrepreneurship for the sustainability, which might solve a lot more bigger problems of ours as a business and for the country and for the globe as a whole. Now, the question is, if we are not careful, if we are not taking this very seriously, it may happen that the government regulations, which are becoming very strict gradually, may force us to stop our business. So it's high time for us to think about it, to make ourselves aware what are these, how we could do that. So we can be in the level playing field. We can do a great business. We can make our profit higher, and it will be good for the human as a whole. So this green entrepreneurship, which could be one of the greater path for us, it handles three important aspects: environmental, social, and governance. So it's a broader term. Green entrepreneurship has three important segments. Again, I'm trying to connect with. This is environmental, social, and governance. And believe me, when we try to practice this, that means we are very much complying the rules and regulations. We're trying to reduce the risk of fines or penalties, and it helps us in long-term efficiency with productivity. And when we are doing sustainable practices, we are also trying to make people's life better. And we can become one of the responsible business. So why not? So please join hands together, because we need to join all the initiatives together. And why this is important, let me show you. Say, this is a big firm, big business, very easy for them to fight with the small business. If I assume my finger as a small business, I cannot fight with this big business. But when I'm trying to join my hands with others, and how is this possible? Let me tell you gradually. So there are a lot more interesting aspects of green entrepreneurship. But before going for that interesting aspect, I have shared few cases of some of those businesses in Canada and around the world also, who tried to bring some change in their different stages of business. And believe me, those changes has created positive impact to them in the form of greater revenue and more customers. So I will share the slides with you. I can go with the cases, or I may spare 1 minute. If you want to, you can go ahead, just scan this case, which is really one of the successful example of practicing green in business, which is bringing greater impact in terms of more revenue. So please have a look of this. It's about the maple leaf food. So you can see some of the points here. It's talking about the environmental footprint, which could be in terms of electricity, natural gas, water, solid waste, etc., for this specific firm. And the second example is also very much about Canada. And they also tried to bring some changes in their practices to go with the sustainable, to bring the sustainable value in their businesses by incorporating some local supply chains. I will try to focus this more gradually. You could go ahead with this gradually when I will share the PowerPoint slides with you. So there are cases like these are really profitable in long term for future sustainable businesses. Now, when I say these are really profitable, it's really a bit challenging to understand how much profitable it is. Or you might be thinking, why should I go for green entrepreneurship? How it's going to benefit me? So for that, my personal belief is we should always think about some numbers or metrics. If we think about number or statistics, when we try to bring some change, it's really easy for us to understand or visualize the things. So in this slide, you could see is the another case about Mills Office, which is a British Columbia-based supplier of office products. They try to work with some of the aspects of the business, some of the components of the business, starting from energy, waste generation, customer retention, carbon emission, and market share. Okay, let me share one more thing, or let me ask you, what are the different energy sources you think which we could use for the business? If you could share something, Muhammad Ali, if I am right in pronouncing your name, please.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, my business is a digital agency. So the source is mainly electricity. Uh, and then so this is the main source of because I'm running laptops, mobiles, etc. So this is the main source of energy.
So if we think a bit more, from where this electricity is coming, what is your idea? What do you think?
Yeah, so I looked up to the Hydro Ottawa invoice, and it was surprising that 50% of energy source is from nuclear technology, and then from sustainable or let's say uh, renewable energy. I think it's about 15%, if I'm correct. And then also there is the fuel. It's which is I don't remember the percentage, but mainly those three parts.
Okay, so, but apart from that, there are a lot more other sources from where we get energy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we really try to think about what sources we are using to get energy, many of them might be not very good for us. At the same time, as I just said, that due to so much businesses and our ambition and trying to make the life more comfortable, we are trying to produce tons and tons of goods and services. So there could be some shortage of those, and which is creating the costing higher. And as a business, I guess we all try to make our cost minimum if possible so that we can get more revenue, more profit in the sense of that gap. So this firm, they tried to work with their energy thing. I'm not saying that you should work with the same thing, right? But think about your business, or I will think about my business, others may think about their business and the component of that business, which might be workable for them. So for this Mills office, maybe they thought that working with energy might work. And it really worked for them because see in this table, their energy cost was much higher without sustainability practices. But once when they started, it has made this cost much lower, which is really a great achievement for the business. 30% reduction in the energy cost, not less, right? Next thing they worked with, this was waste generation, because in each business, depending upon the type of business, we have to face the challenges of waste minimization or how to dispose of the waste. And I think many of us are aware that when we create waste, it goes to the landfill if we don't recycle or reuse that. And this is creating a bigger challenge for all of us to find out new places for landfill. And this landfill is again creating some another hazard, more hazardous gas, and a lot more other things. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that at this moment. I want to focus on this Mills office, which tried to work with the waste generation. And when they tried to work with that, they also saw significant change there. From 20 tons to 12 tons, 40% reduction. And I should not deny the fact that we are all thinking about environment. Maybe we are not able to contribute much, but we are more aware about environment and our consumption pattern as a consumer. So here also, they saw the customer retention, which was before moderate, but gradually it became higher because people are becoming more environmental conscious. They try to see which specific business is working with the green things. They are more sustainable. So they saw this as well. And the important aspect of whole of this change is bringing some drastic reduction in their carbon emission, 200 metric tons to 140 metric tons. So we can see the example, which is really helpful for us to understand why should I go for the green practices. And the market share. I hope we understand how many customers are using my produce, and we are always trying to make that number more and more. So they have seen 50% growth in their market share, not less. So this Mills office, the British Columbia-based supplier of office products, has started some change, and these change has brought drastic reduction in their energy cost, in their waste. I mean, that overall quantity of the waste which they were dealing with. So initially they were facing it challenging, but gradually their high operational cost became lower because of the environmental concerns. So we need to bring some change in our practices. We should not think about the traditional practices which has created so much harm to us, but it was not intentional, we know that. But why not think about something different? Why not try to practice some those things which is good for the people and great for the business as well? So here again, I would like to focus some of those important segments. The cost saving in a year was not less $15,000 in a year from energy. And they have created some environmental impact in the form of less CO2, carbon, which we are all facing in the form of a biggest challenge for us. And when it comes to the branding, they have attracted more eco-conscious customers, and it has boosted their sales and royalty because we want repeated customers. And the business should be for long term. So if somebody is coming to me and buying something from me and not feeling good about me or my business, it might not be good for me. So all these things have created positive impact for Mill's office. Now, we have seen few cases. We have seen some statistics and metrics. I would like to ask some questions. It could be related with some of the segments, some of the parts and parcels of the business, starting from waste disposal, energy, water use, raw material, or it could be something else. But we should not forget that the other components of the business, which could be about social and governance, where we talk about inclusivity, we talk about ethical business practices, awareness building and education, and above all, the carbon footprint. So I have a few questions. There could be many more again. So what do you think about these aspects of the business? I want to give, I want to spare some time for this, say take 2 to 3 minutes and try to give the answer with yes or no. So there are 7 questions here. Have a look of the questions and just let me know if you would like to share how many of yours are there in the form of yes, or if there are any no. Please go ahead. I'm also trying to do for myself. Thank you. It's about the raw materials used, water uses. What about the sustainable or recycled raw materials to produce the goods? Reducing the use of economic or natural resources, conservation, minimizing environmental harm, minimizing waste. Yeah, not less. So once if you're done with that, please let me know. Oh, great. So how many yes for you?
So there is 5
Oh, that's great. Out of 7, 5
out of
yes.
7. Yeah.
That's
But
really
the two are, are not applicable because
because of the nature of the business.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, but then also if there are 5, so all 5 has yes for you, right?
Yeah.
That's great. You already are in the path of green entrepreneurship. Okay.
I do care.
That's really great. We all try to care, we all try to work with this, but there are challenges. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Could you please go through with these questions again? Again, many of them might not match with yours, but then
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
for the
The
first
same here,
question,
yes and no.
sorry.
Same here for the answer. Mark yes and no. How many yes and how many
Okay.
no? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Here again, I try to touch with some of the different segments of the business, starting from fossil fuel, energy conservation, supply chain, education to the customers, providing customers with the opportunity to reduce environmental impact, awareness building. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's done.
Oh, great. So here again, how many of the questions are matching with your business?
4.
Okay. So how about how many yes?
It's let's say 3 yeses or 4 yeses because the first question it's a yes, but it's partial because electricity isn't 100% from fossil, but also there's a part on it in it.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. So it's again good. Very good. And rest of them are not related with yours, is it?
Yeah, so there is some no. It's like, for example, the point 5, do you educate consumers about environmental issues? So I don't, honestly. And it's like it depends on the client, on the situation, because probably some clients doesn't want that part or doesn't appreciate that. It
Mhm.
depends on several factors.
I see. And how about sixth number?
The 6 is not applicable because
Mhm.
recycling, let's say, providing consumers with the opportunity to reduce. So probably the only thing is how to use how to optimize carbon footprint in developing websites or materials for communication and marketing. This
Yes,
is the only part.
right. I understand. So you already said about the customers. So there's less scope to improve customers' awareness on sustainable consumption because you're not directly interacting with that, maybe.
Uh, yeah, this is, for example, in the content on the website and
Mhm.
to how to write the mission, values, etc. This part could improve the awareness for customers. Or, for example, on social media, how we are, um, uh, let's say, green company, or let's say aware how environment should be taken seriously.
I understand. Okay, great. So, yeah, you're doing great, to be very frank. So, this is the third part, and I guess from rapid question fire, this is the last part for the questions in that sense. So, here also, I would be expecting yes or no. How many yes and how many no's? You can see these questions have different dimension, right? Yes, that's very much about social responsibility, you could say. And some of them are about governance.
It's done.
Okay, great. So how many yes again?
5.
Okay, not bad. And
So the only two is the fourth point and the seventh point. How do you ensure a safe working environment for your employees? So I don't have employees, but I work with contractors, consultants, and it's the safe environment is their in in their responsibilities. So it's not mine.
I understand.
This is why. And
I
the seventh
understand.
point, I didn't think about it before,
Mhm.
so it's a good point,
Uh-huh.
and I will think how about to do incentives for clients, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
And thank you for this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your this input that this looks good to you. But overall, if I see all those three sets of questions, you are doing great.
Thank
You're
you.
doing great. And a little changes or little initiative is required because of the nature of your business. So yeah, that's really something significant for your business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me move to the next one. But before moving to the next segment, let me hear a bit more about you. I'm really interested to know your business. You said a bit, and about your country of origin, if you could share. Because in many
Yeah.
of the countries and the cultures, we have something which are very much about recycling, reusing. I don't know if there are any with you or your background. Please share something about your those things.
Thank you. So I'm originally from Tunisia, North Africa, and came here to Canada about 8 months ago. Started my business 2 months ago, and it's, as I said, it's a digital agency. I work on um, designing websites, developing e-commerce websites, and branding identity for SMBs, startups, and solopreneurs. And then in terms of green entrepreneurship, it's like the let's per, it's like a personal attachment to nature. I love nature, so in terms of entrepreneurship, I would like to apply what I learned in terms of preserving, etc. And also, it's as you said in the presentation, it could be a way to educate customers about their consumption and probably generate let's say brand awareness, as I can also say that the company is green, and it could be also an opportunity there to make profit on something good like that. So it's a good situation to give to nature. For example, I'm working on Stripe platform, which is for payment platform, and there is a small percentage with each payment that goes to the environment, which is something that I make the label on the website to um, to enhance this understanding and this responsibility.
That's great. Would you like to share some of the practices of Tunisia from social or cultural perspective, which you think are somehow a bit related with recycling or reusing things? It could be the food or living style or something else.
Yeah, it's probably it's about the living style. It's especially in terms of clothing, home goods, etc., which is really in the culture of people in Tunisia, that they reuse the material for other purposes. So there is less waste than probably in other countries. But unfortunately, for example, for food businesses or industries, there is a lack of conscious about it, as there is so much waste. So there is no so in terms of social part with the people, they are using or reusing materials for economic purposes. And unfortunately, it's not about nature or green or let's say ecology part, but it's about the economic part, to spend less. But in terms of manufacturing or waste, in the manufacturing part or food industry, for example, there is a lack of conscience, honestly. So there is a way to do to enhance consciousness about it.
I understand. That's really interesting to know and interesting to hear all those practices. So, sometimes I wonder, we all have some of those elements or had those elements with us, but we might have ignored that gradually or forgotten that gradually, which is not okay. Even I can say I am from Indian background, or I can also say Bangladesh as well. There are some similarities in these two, like we generally women wear long drapes. So sometimes once if they don't like that anymore or they want to, bring something new out of those drapes, they try to put many of those drapes together, and then they do some embroidery there, and it's like a kilt, you can use this.
Yeah,
So it's yet there, but not at that extent. So I was
yeah,
just sometimes I just was thinking about what was there before, how we have changed, and in what manner. So I was just curious to know what is there in different cultures. So yeah, that's really great to hear. And I'm happy to share mine one as well. So let us work
thank you.
together with some new ideas and new elements in our practices. Okay,
Mhm.
so you said you have already something there. This is really something great, but My question is again, so many things we tried to discuss and we brought together. That means we have yet some scope to work with some of the key functional areas when we try to make our business sustainable. We all talked about energy. Water is also very important for some of the businesses. Transportation. Sometimes you need to transport your goods, and especially when the size is big, it really matters. Reuse, recycling, waste management, green tendering. Sometimes we try to give tender to those who are practicing green or who are sustainable businesses. Green agriculture, minimizing carbon emission, education and awareness, very important again. So when we try to relate all these elements, we have some stakeholders. Somehow they get impact or they contribute up to some extent. So there could be entrepreneurs, the investors also, they also look for some time who are really the green business and sustainable practices are there. Some promoters are there, customers, consumers, employees. Nowadays, I was really happy to see that the young generation, they are really very cautious about the firms which they're going to join, whether their policies are sustainable or not. So, yes, employees, suppliers, input providers, lending institutions, banks, because I just mentioned that there are different types of financial provisions, funds, which are only for the sustainable businesses. Green financing is one of the important element of many banks in their financial that empowerment or awareness programs. There are community members, groups, other business entities, politicians, civil society, environmental NGOs, donor agencies. So many of them are there. And I hope that if we all think from our level, our background, our part, we could contribute great for the overall cause, which will be also economically viable. So this green entrepreneurship, if we see as a whole, it tries to bring changes from one corner of the business to another, starting from input to taking back. I mean, it is giving us the idea about circular economy. So nothing will get wasted. So it has the element of environment. It's also trying to manage the risk because it is financially profitable, which is very, very important element for the businesses. Why I and you as an entrepreneur will look for that, even if it's so good? We should ethically, but we will always look for the profit element of the business. So this is financially profitable, very important. It is also bringing an environmental part, and last but not the least, it creates social value because it is inclusive. How it is inclusive? See our hand. We cannot say this finger is very important and this is not, or this finger is important. If some injury happens to this, whole of this get impact and our whole body. So when we join the fingers together, it gives us the strength. So this green entrepreneurship is inclusive. When we try to be inclusive, we try to bring people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different expertise. We could do great. And that is proven with some of the cases we have seen and we can see gradually. Now, how to go ahead? How to bring this green component? There are many ways, but I would like to focus on two of them. One of these could be the cluster-based development. And another is sustainability audit, where we can work with the metrics with some action plan. Have you heard about the cluster before?
The concept, yeah, it's about joint a single, let's say, toward a single objective or target, like companies, cluster of companies that are working together to benefit all in profit.
Right. So say my business is recycling and upcycling with the art and craft techniques, and you are working with digital things. Can we create a cluster? Can we work together? Maybe, may not. So there could be two approaches of cluster development. One could be at the same level of business, like you could talk with the similar business who is there with the digital activities, or you could talk with the suppliers, right?
Yeah.
So there could be horizontal networking to develop the cluster, there could be vertical development, right?
Yeah.
And this is really helpful in cost reduction. And above all, stimulating competition, because in general, the small businesses, especially sole proprietorship or some of those which are really working with very small amount of capital, like you and me and many more, we really need to fight with the big firms. And one of the strong element of that is the advantage of cluster that, we have to work together to make this happen. And here, this will help us. Okay, so again, I would like to see you can check this activity. It is actually for helping you and me and many more to work with the, formation of clusters. So I just ask, can we make the cluster? May or may not. So generally, when we try to create cluster, we try to bring networking among us. Why will you be associated with me if we have some common interest? Okay? Or if we live in the similar location, or maybe we can sit together at a specific time, we can work together, right?
Yeah.
Or in a second sense, we can see some common needs. Like we want to work with the energy efficiency together, we can work. Or we want to reduce our waste depending upon what type of business we are dealing with. Okay. Sometimes we try to share some of the tools or materials. Say, I want to bring some raw materials from faraway places. I can ask you, are you ready to go with me? So we can share the transport cost.
Hi, Muhammad Ali. Can you
Hi,
hear me?
Zion, how are you?
Sorry. Okay. I think I'm mute. Hi, Muhammad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, how are
I'm
you?
sorry. I think Pinky's computer died. I mean, the
Oh,
battery. So she's trying to reconnect. She'll connect back soon.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience.
No worries.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
So we were talking about the energy, and I was at the brink of my laptop energy. So sorry for that.
No worries. I just took a chance to have a coffee already.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I was so, yeah, you need a break. I also. Do you need any more break for 2 more minutes, or it's okay?
For me, it's okay.
Oh,
If
oh, okay, great. So I would like to share one more thing with you. Just a second. I think these sheets we will share with you. I tried to create some of the, sorry, sheets for the practice. You can see, right? Can you see the practice sheet?
no, yeah, right now I see it.
So you can see cluster formation is one of the, there is the segment of cluster formation.
Mhm.
Can you see that?
Yeah, there is a cluster formation and there is a table.
Yeah, there is a
Exactly.
table, yes. So I was just discussing with you, like, if we really want to work with the cluster formation, why will you be interested in that? Why I will be? So we have to find some common interest, right? So I just
Yeah.
tried to make this table. It's not necessary to use the same table. It's just for giving some idea, you know, like we can fix something common there. It could be the timing or the nature of the business, right? And
Yeah.
then we can fix some day and time for the meeting or something like that. So I was thinking if there could be more people, they could work in group to fix that, how it could work. Because networking is also one of the very interesting element to work together for some common interest. Next is identifying the common needs. Like I was just saying, like if we could work for energy, how can we minimize our energy cost? Some people may think about working for, waste reduction. Some might work for recycled raw material and so on. So when you try to frame or work for the cluster, you could look for those elements. There could be also resource pooling, like I was saying. I want to bring some raw materials from faraway places. And for me, as a small business, my transport cost is very high. So I was wondering why not ask Mohammed to go with me and if he could also bring some raw material for his business. So we can minimize our cost in that manner. So here, the other thing could be the service delivery, and we can see these things are widely practiced by many big businesses. So why not work for that as well? Okay, moving ahead, there could be a roadmap. What we are doing today. What will happen after a month or a year? There should be a roadmap to evaluate. Like I tried to show you with one of the case example. So in a span of say 2 months or 6 months, we can fix the target for our business, how much we have achieved and where else we have to work more. So there could be another thing is monitor and scale. We can track the progress. We can expand our partnerships. Sometime it may be the case, I'm not going for the horizontal clustering, I'm going for vertical clustering. I'm just going for one segment of the partnership. So this will all be helpful for that roadmap and overall for the cluster formation. Okay. So this I would like to share with you again. Once if I finish, you can see where is some scope to work with. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, now just a second again. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see my PowerPoint?
I see your desktop right now.
Oh, my desktop. Okay.
Go back to this.
Just a second.
Sorry for all the trouble.
Sorry. So it's I'm really sorry for the
No,
inconvenience
I'm
today.
sorry. I wish it was easier. Why is this here now?
Yeah,
Let's
I want
switch
to
this
come
one.
for my, yes, PowerPoint. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's still showing this. Maybe if we move this guy over. This
Yeah,
screen.
that's good right now.
Okay. Too much trouble today. I don't know what's
Oh,
happening.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's visible now, right? Okay.
Yes.
So I was talking about the cluster, how we can frame a cluster. Sometimes the government also tries to promote clustering, and this is one of the very successful way of, doing that, incorporating that green thing in the business, especially for the small firms. Because again, a big fish may just swallow the small fish, but when all the small fishes will come together, you can imagine,
Yeah.
then it can give a good fight to the big fish with the help of clustering. So it is helpful for cost reduction. As I just gave few examples how it could work. In bulk purchase, sometimes we also try to share the resources together, partnership, and even we could use the local suppliers for our raw materials. And in those cases, you can see there are many examples, especially during COVID, this was widely practiced. It could also be useful for waste management, recycling, and so on. So the next thing is this collaboration really helps in market expansion. And gradually, we can look for the green certification and joint marketing, because for a small firm, marketing not easy. We cannot spend for marketing. So here, when we work together, we could create our brand name. I don't have any example from here, but I have few examples from Bangladesh that there are few small firms, they jointly took one big space in a very good shopping mall on rent, and gradually they did the great business and they're doing the great business. So they got good number of customers also, because you're not looking for here and there, where is that specific business location, and you are going to a same place and accessing 15, 20 small businesses together. So it helps in marketing and minimizing the cost and creating brand name.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing which I was trying to say, that was about using metrics. And I discussed about that in a bit, in a few examples. How can we make the people engaged, the businesses engaged? What are the different ways of finding out our carbon footprint? So we have to set a goal. Okay, we want to minimize this cost of electricity from, just for example, $1,000 to at least $900. Set a goal and then see after that time span, which you and me or any business has fixed, how much we have achieved. So there are different checkpoints. I just tried to put them here. And it is very helpful for many of the businesses who are really working with the water and waste management. And then this specific action plan will help you in understanding how much energy consumption you have done or waste reduction you are doing, water uses, resource uses. So you can check some of these points and can come up with some ideas or some of your thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's about the energy consumption. Huh? It's the only part that is applicable for my business.
I understand. Okay. So this is just one of the example. People can prepare different types of, sheets or goals depending upon the nature of their business and can work with that. These are all the part of green business practices. See in the next sheet here also, I try to put some of those segments. Like many times we just think that, okay, how much electricity my laptop or my other gadgets are using. And we forget to count how much business travel I or you or the other employees of the business have done.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
How much fuel we have used for our own commuting from home to the business place or offices. Sometimes we think about the disposal thing, the waste disposal especially. So there are different checklists here. People can incorporate some more and can work with some. It's just for, your own assessment, your own metrics, which you could think about. could be helpful for your business.
And question here is, do you know, is there any resources or tools that can help us determine the carbon footprint for a company, for example?
I mean, for digital business?
In general, but
Uh-huh.
if there is for digital business, that would be great.
As per my knowledge, I know there are some tools available free to use to understand how much carbon print you have as a person or your business may have. And some of them are paid because from last many years, World Economic Forum and some other organizations are trying to work on that, and they have developed some of the checklist, some calculator. So people can avail them, or there could be another option. They can develop their own as well, depending upon some of the specific components of their business, what is used more or less. Like here for you, some of them are not working, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so you can check some of those which are free and some are paid as well. Yeah, which are really helpful. Because ultimately this is reducing our cost, right?
Absolutely. And then probably it's for to be labeled, for example, there is a requirements. So you need for let's say insights about it, how you are the carbon footprint and the CO2 emissions, etc. So you can have better understanding of your current situation and make goals.
Right, very true. So I was also trying to discuss about some of the related things like energy uses for transportation and even sometimes for the waste disposal. So some of them are direct by the company owned sources and some of them are indirect, right? People could even think about that and can calculate their carbon footprint, right? I also tried to develop one Excel with some of the metrics. Again, it might not be fully workable for you, but some might be. So people may think about that with some dates and can, check how much useful it is for them and how much cost it tried to reduce with those metrics. So sometime, if some of the metrics are not that much workable, we could interchange with some other metrics. But my personal opinion is if we try to put some number as our target or goal, that is really helpful. Because many times we just say, okay, I think this is really good. I would like to work on this. I will try to reduce my energy consumption. But until I don't see the number, how much change I have brought with the help of that change, it's not effective. So metrics are really useful. If I don't want to work in the cluster, I want to see my own changes. I want to practice some of those better ways of doing business. These are really effective. So here I try to put again the energy, waste, water, resource use, carbon footprint, waste recycling, because I think many of the new businesses you must have heard even are using those waste as their raw materials. And some countries have even used some of the plastics for road construction, which are really great, right?
Yeah.
There is another Excel sheet, again with the metrics, with the target goal. So what thing you think could be useful for you, which is not visible here?
Something which is not listed here.
Yes.
Um,
Or you can think about it. It's not a big
I
issue.
don't see, yeah, I don't see something that is not listed because it's about energy consumption,
Mhm.
carbon footprint, waste recycling rate, and supply chain efficiency. Probably also product life cycle impact because it's a digital product, but it works with servers, energy, etc. And can be also
Okay,
impacted.
one thing could be very important for digital things. I believe like many times those tools or those instruments, once if they become obsolete, what to do with that? This is also one of the biggest challenge, the electronic waste, right?
Yeah.
It's not directly related, but indirectly people might think about that who are working with the digital things. Because when you are doing digital business, you are using lots of gadgets, right? Starting from a wire to
Yeah.
plugs and lot more. Why not thinking about that, right? So these could be some of the indirect metrics which could be incorporated in preparing the Excel to understand the sustainability goal and the target, how much has accomplished and where is the gap, right?
Right, yeah.
So one thing I strongly again believe that, see, I would like to write something. Let me write here in the chat. If I ask you, sorry, 5 plus 5 is equal to, can you
10?
see the chat?
No, unfortunately.
You can see Zoom chat.
Yeah, I see the Zoom, but I don't have any comment, any new comment.
I don't see it either.
You mean in the screen?
Okay, just a second. I stopped sharing. I was,
Oh, but you didn't send it, that's all.
okay, I have to send it. Okay. Can you see that now?
Yeah. Yes.
So 5 plus 5 is?
Magically 10.
Yes, 10, that's true. But if I ask you another question, just a second, let me type. Now I have changed my question.
Good one. Yes.
So what is your
Multiple
answer now?
possibilities. Multiple possibilities. It's like,
Yes, and we want that. I don't want you to follow what I said. I don't want others to follow what I said. The target is we want to work for sustainability. Your approach will be different from my approach, from another person's approach. Why not? Work with that approach. 2 plus 8 is equal to 10. 1 plus 9 is equal to 10. Okay, there could be multiple
very true.
options. So think about that with your innovative ideas, your setup, your tools, and work for that. And I believe strongly as an entrepreneur, we can try if we really are strong there. If we try, we will try to solve the problem together, and that would be great for everybody. Because we have the ideas, we are trying to solve the problem of the people with our produce, whether it's goods or services. So work with that. And this work will help everybody. So I'm trying to conclude. If you could see again my PowerPoint.
Yes, absolutely. I see your screen with the notes.
Okay,
It should be fine.
Just a
You can
second.
still do it if you want.
Yeah,
like,
but that's good.
Yeah,
That,
it's just, he's seeing the presenter view, but it's still showing that slide.
Okay, that's fine. So you can
Yeah.
see the conclusion?
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. So implementing green business practices, that sustainability practices may create lots of challenge. How to do, from where to start, what to do. But I strongly believe that strategic planning, innovation, and sometimes, or for the small businesses, maybe we are looking for institutional support as well. And that can help us in gradually for the adoption of these practices so we can achieve the long-term goals, which will not only good for our business, but it will be good for everybody because it will increase social benefit. And we are very much with the government regulations and compliance to reduce the carbon footprint. So join the hands together and be strong and let us work for environment and let us work for the humanity. Thank you very much. Thanks for your kind hearing and sharing as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, you and all the team to be all the team in the room to be here, and it was a pleasure being with you today. Not sure if I only the only one who was subscribed. I'm not sure what I at the beginning I thought there was other participant in the room, but it seems not. But the session was really informative, and thank you for all the question here. If you may share the tables after that, so it would be great.
I have everything with you, but I cannot share, but I have all the soft copy. I will
Okay.
share with you the PowerPoint and there are extra resources as well. I will request if I could, or the coordinator may send it to you, and you can see how you could apply with some changes or full change, no problem, but you know what to do. You're already in that path.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
so
you
much.
very much. One suggestion for me again.
One suggestion?
One
Sorry?
suggestion or one,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, probably if there is some tools, as I asked before, online, so that probably everyone can directly ping the website and try to have more insights about their businesses immediately with these kind of tools. Probably it's a practical thing that the tangible that can do immediately.
Right. Even I was thinking there could be more participants. I could request you to do some group work in Zoom with the,
breakout rooms. Yeah.
Yes, but we could not do that anyway, but it was nice and great to be with you here in this session. And you were very active. You were not less. You were so active and so much, you came with the energy and your ideas were also great. You're already applying some of the things. So I'm really happy that
Trying.
I myself is working for that, and there are many more who are trying their best. We just need some more initiative and some more changes in our practices. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will be sharing all of them. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
All the
Thank you.
best wishes for you. Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. I'm really sorry. I created a lot.
You didn't do anything.
I was not very much habituated with, this. I work with my laptop with Zoom and everything, but not of this setup. So
No, I felt bad. It was too much. Like,
sorry.
yeah, don't worry.
And I didn't bring my biro. Oh my God, I never did this, which I did today.
It's not fun, like, coming to a presentation, you think it's gonna go one way and then it's like 10 other things.
I could not show them because,